Manchester United won, Arsenal won at Old Trafford in the Premier League. And I tell you what, guys, going into this game, you would have seen me on the pre-match, wasn't feeling very positive, was very, very pessimistic about us getting anything today. Of course, Arsenal scored 7 in the week against PSV. You saw Don Robbie on the match preview saying he wanted Arsenal to be ruthless. And I'll give Man United credit. They fought, and they should, as you've seen on the thumb, they should have won that game. Bruno Fernandes with a brilliant free kick, a bit questionable with David Raya and the Arsenal wall and all that kind of stuff there. Second half, massive opportunity for Mazraoui. Gilt edge could be 2-0. Xerxes with a flick could have been another goal. Obviously, Højlund, big opportunity. Casemiro wins it back. And in the end, Declan Rice gets the equaliser. It's a brilliant finish from him. Maybe Ruben Amorim could have made the subs 5 minutes earlier, something like that. But United should have won that game 3 or 4-1. And yeah, obviously the standards at the moment at Manchester United are very, very low. We know that. And I'm not celebrating a draw, but I think we're applauding effort from United because we just don't see it. And we have been fooled before, so I'm still not going to be completely sort of all trusting of these players after a positive performance against a big side, because how many times have we done that? But I think there's something to take out of that. There is a little bit of momentum coming into the game against Real Sociedad at home, and the Old Trafford crowd actually was applauding it at the end because we're not used to it. We're not used to seeing that this season, so I can't complain too much. And if you'd have said before kickoff, we'll give you a 1-1 draw and you'll be unhappy that you didn't win, I'd go, thank you very much. And this is what we've been saying about these games coming up. United need, 4 wins to secure safety, blah, blah, blah. There might be a couple of points here and there. We didn't think that was going to be up against Arsenal. So I'll take it, to be honest with you. Let's get straight to the calls. This is the full-time view where members can call in and have their say. If you do wish to become a member, you can do so. Links in the video description. It's also pinned in the chat. You can get the join button. You get your exclusive content, your emojis, and your members' priority chat too. Let's start off with Show. Show, did you expect a draw going into today, and should we have won that game?
I actually thought it was always going to be a tight game. I mean, I think there was a lot of fears about it being a battering, but I mean, the 7-1 Arsenal game aside midweek, Arsenal struggled for goals as well. So I always thought the game was going to play out, well, more like the first half was going to be the second half. Second half, there was a lot of chances. Arsenal had a few, but we had the majority. But yeah, it's frustrating because, like you said, it's like before the game would have taken the 1-1. But now that I've watched that game, I'm kind of disappointed. So yeah, it's just one of those, like the first half, like if you break it down, the first half literally, I mean, I didn't see you guys match view, but literally nothing happened for 40 minutes until it was so boring. Yeah, it was really bad from both teams. And then we just got the free kick out of nowhere, brilliant free kick from Bruno. But the fear is, like I can't remember the last time we've gone like 1-0 up and then like 1-1-0. So I kind of always felt as bad as Arsenal, because Arsenal were terrible today. Yeah, let's be honest. Yeah, but I always felt they were gonna have some like goal out of nowhere. And once again, it's just the usual awful defending by us. They got the equaliser, but we had enough chances to win that game. I mean, Mazraoui's chance will go down as a good Raya save, but I still think he should have put it more in the corner, in my opinion. I thought it was quite close to Raya. Højlund, I mean, it just epitomizes Højlund this season, isn't it? You know what I mean? The way the first one where he just, for me, just hit it first time. I don't know why you take the touch. You don't need to it's coming across your body onto your left foot. Just hit it. And even the second one goes down as good defending, right? But there's too many times I see Højlund where he doesn't get across the defender in time. I know that's one of the things I noticed by when the cutbacks come in, the defender always gets there before him. And that's the common theme with him. So yeah, 2 chances missed with him. Even Bruno's at the end. I think Bruno's chance at the end was poor, but then obviously he scored the great free kick, so you can kind of say, yeah, it's a bit harsh, but I still think someone like him, I think he should have done better with his chance at the end. So yeah, it's frustrating, man. It's that, but yeah, in the end, like you said, if you offered the draw before the game, yeah, we probably would have taken it. So yeah, it is what it is. I guess whether it's a good confidence booster for the Sociedad game, we've had a lot of false doors under Amorim already, haven't we? I mean, so
yeah,
we're not gonna go.
Question.
Yeah,
that was gonna be my question to you. Be like, is it something to hold on to? Is it a positive, or is it one of those ones of, look, we knocked Arsenal at the FA Cup and nothing happened. We drew at Anfield against a team that's going to win the league. Nothing happened. We beat City at the Etihad. Nothing happened. is there still a lot more to show from these players before we get too attached? Because we could still go out the Europa on Thursday.
Yeah, no, because look, we've seen before. I think if we remember, like we won that game we won at the Etihad 2-1. That was meant to be like the kickstart for Amorim, and nothing's ever really happened, since after that. And then it was like, oh, we won at the Emirates against Arsenal. There were 10 men, such a good win, which it was. But nothing happened after that. We got the 2-2 draw at Anfield. Nothing happened after that. So we've seen in these one-off big games that actually these are our best performances, right? But then you go on Thursday where we're going to be at home to Sociedad and we're going to be expected to dominate possession, create chances. We can't really do that yet with the kind of, I guess, the way we're playing at the moment with the players, manager, kind of everything, as a collective. So yeah, I still think the Sociedad game is going to be one of them like nervy ones. I'll be honest, like maybe like a 2-1 tie, even two. I'm saying like a 2 because when do we ever score 2 goals in a game, right? It's quite rare. So yeah, I don't see today being like a kickstarter for the team, but yeah, today was one of our better performances recently. So yeah, you take it and you take the positives out of it. You know what I'm saying? I thought Heaven
and we got
was good.
First half goal as well.
But again, it's still 21 consecutive halves without an open play goal. Though,
open play.
Yeah, we still can't score the open play goal. I don't know when it's gonna come. I'd love to say it's gonna come on Thursday. So I hope that we end that run. That's a sad run that we're on. I hate that stat. I can't lie. But yeah, I mean, I thought in a couple of players like Heaven was good when he came on. I thought for a young kid, playing against Arsenal. I was kind of disappointed Cheeto didn't come on instead of Højlund, but I guess Amorim chose Højlund instead. But it is what it is. But Bruno again, man. Let's be honest. Like he's carrying the team at the moment. I mean, I'm not one of those that when people say like, look out, without Bruno, like how should I say it? There's always the extremes with Bruno, isn't it? Like there's the Bruno's world class and he's elite, or Bruno's crap. But let's face it, like without Bruno at the moment, we're not creating or scoring anything. You know what I mean? So he's kind of carrying the team on his back at the moment. So yeah, fair play to him. Hopefully he carries it on. And hopefully he gets some bloody support from our forwards, isn't it? Because Garnacho again today, I mean, I don't know what more to say about this guy. Like the guy plays for him. Like it's so evident how much that guy plays for himself. Like, and he always passes, if you notice, as a last resort. He won't take one touch and pass, right? He'll dribble, and when he can't shoot, he'll be like, I'll pass it then. And it's just, it's really frustrating to watch. The forwards as a collective are frustrating to watch. But yeah, overall, good performance, man.
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it indeed. Big up, show. Appreciate you calling in as always. How many likes are we currently at the moment, guys? We are over 100 likes already, which is brilliant. We are closing in on 600 people watching. So if you haven't already, click subscribe. Amanor, well, the first super chat says, Owen, please hold show for charges against Amorim. Amanor and these charges. You're obsessed, Amanor. You're obsessed. Charges, pillow talk. I mean, well, one leads to the other. I mean, good Lord, Amanor. It's too early. It's too early for Amanor madness at the moment, indeed. What are some people saying here in the chat? K-Flow, that's right, about Bruno. Take his goals and assists out. What does he do? Yeah, exactly. Sciliano says Garnacho needs coaching on in-game decisions. Super Arch says, can we really say penalties is carrying the team? What about the person who created the penalty? Well, it wasn't even a penalty. It was a free kick, wasn't it? That means that kind of negates that point. Nesta says, good momentum for Thursday. Rashid says Casemiro and De Ligt really stepped up. Let's go to another call. Let's go to where should we go? GJE. Let's go to GJE. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, 1-1, and we could have won that game.
Yeah, do you know what, Owen? I actually feel, when the game ended, I kind of felt a bit sad because I was like, we could have actually won that. Like, it felt like 2 points dropped once the game ended. Yeah, I really finished watching the game thinking, wow, we really could have beaten Arsenal there because we had quite a few chances. I mean, the first half was terrible. Like, I don't know what both teams were doing. Both teams just came in there very lackluster. But once that second half started, I felt like United played very, very well. I felt like we were the better side in that second half, and Yeah, Raya today was just, I think he was just brilliant. I think he made a lot of decent saves. The only chance that kind of got to me that I was like, oh my God, Rasmus, what are you doing? Was the one where Rice tackled him from behind. And I don't know what's going on with Rasmus, man. Like, it almost feels like, is it a lack of confidence thing, or is this the player that we actually have? Because it's just like you think in that moment, like you need to be taking out your opportunity. You're not gonna get a better chance to score, and he just fluffs his lines and he doesn't take it. But yeah, I think overall, like, there's really nothing. I wouldn't really take too much from this result. I'll just, I mean, I'm just glad that we've gotten the draw. I mean, we're en route to 40 points before we get relegated. Well, we won't get relegated now. I think 34 points. Looking at the table, we should be fine. So yeah, it's just really just getting points on the board to try get as high as possible on the table, and maybe try build some momentum as we go into Europa.
Yeah. What did you think of Aiden Heaven? Came on, impressive second half performance. Is that something for Amorim to think about moving forward?
Yeah, I thought Heaven was great today. I thought he played quite well. I mean, I don't know how soon. I feel very worried about young players coming into this side right now, especially with how poor the performances have been. So I think with Heaven, I think I'll keep it as it is. I think I'll just keep him on the bench and maybe bring him on. I mean, if he starts, I'm not going to be mad at. I'm not going to be mad at it. I trust Amarim to make the right decision. But I think for now, just rather just keep on doing it as we're going right now. But yeah, I thought it was brilliant. Heaven was absolutely brilliant today. But I don't know if that also, when you're playing like a team that you've come from, sometimes you get that extra boost to want to perform. So yeah, but I don't want to just put on that because I thought it was absolutely brilliant. So yeah, so hopefully we can see a bit more from that. Just like the previous caller, I did want to see Chido because I was watching the game thinking like, oh, it would be so good for Chido to just come on and kind of get that debut goal, like his first, not sorry,
Yeah.
his first goal for the team against Arsenal. That would have been great because I know how much the Arsenal fans have been quite upset with Chido joining Man United. So that was something I was dreaming about. So I am with the previous caller that I would have rather. I was hoping that we'll get to see Chido, but yeah, it is what it is. I mean, yeah.
Is it some momentum going into Thursday then, or is it still one of those cases where
Nah, if I'm
we
being
don't
if I'm
trust
being
these players
honest,
yet?
yeah, just so yeah, I don't trust these players enough to use this result to think that we could go on and I'll get a result in Europa. I'm just honestly, I've kind of checked out. I'm just taking it as it is. Like whatever happens, happens. If we win, of course, I'm gonna be delighted. I'm gonna be excited. I am going to be rooting for the team to win. But I really will not take too much from this game because I think I mean, previous callers spoke about it, like, and you've mentioned it too. That we've had so many results during the season where we thought, okay, this is the moment where we could kick on and maybe get on a run on a streak of wins, and we just never really do anything. So I feel like it would be very silly of me right now to expect that from this team. I just feel like I'm just gonna go with hopes and prayers really as we go into that Europa League game. But I do want to say though, I do want to say that on Garnacho, and weirdly enough, I don't know how everyone feels. I actually thought he was quite decent today, to be fair. I thought he was quite decent, especially in the second half. The second half, I thought it was decent because what I saw a bit more from him, and I know there was a mention that he was just passing the ball when it was like the last resort. But what I saw from him was him more getting to the byline and making them crosses. And he was very dangerous. I feel like Arsenal couldn't really handle him, especially Calafiori. I felt like he struggled with Garnacho today. And a lot of those crosses a lot of chances I saw during the game. It came from Garnacho and his tenacity and him creating those crosses. So I just wanted to just give Garnacho a bit of praise. I'm not here saying that Garnacho now is the finished article or he's everything is perfect, but I just felt like today I just saw a bit of an improvement, and I would love to see a bit more from that from Garnacho.
Yeah, I agree. Big up GJE. Appreciate you calling in as always. Do you know what? I agree. I think Redbrand says it there in the chat. I've seen worse performances from him. I would agree there. I think also, and to be fair, shout out Marcel. Talk about getting it spot on at the start of the match for you when he was saying, look, I can get something out of this game. Of course they can. I'm going, no, Marcel. No, they can't. He said, yeah, play on the counter-attack. Play on the counter-attack. Get one behind the ball. Play on the counter-attack. And that's why Garnacho is important. Because if you are going to play on the counter-attack behind the ball, you're not going to get the pace from Xerxes. He's going to hold up the ball. You're not going to get the pace from Ericsson, really, are you? He's going to pick out a good pass. You're going to need him to run the channels. You're going to need him to try and go past players and get the balls into the box. And I thought he did that pretty well today. We know the thing with him, end product. It doesn't really have that much end product. But shout out Marcel because he caught it absolutely spot on before the game. Yeah, go on counter attack, win set pieces. And as much as we're saying that the first half was dull and boring, and it was, I think that was almost by design of just let's just stifle Arsenal. Let's make sure they don't get any rhythm going. Yeah, they can have a lot of the ball. We'll just get behind the ball, frustrate them. We know that they don't have their attacking players at the moment, so we'll make sure that they don't really put too much pressure on us, and then we'll grow into the game. And to be fair, that's exactly what we did. I mean, I don't like really to do the whole, Amorim coached to win, but the players didn't do it, because I think we have to get out of this mindset of if we win, it's the coaching genius. If we lose, it's the players are a disgrace. But I do think today, what you can say is I think Amorim, the only thing he got wrong today is he probably made his subs about 5-10 minutes too late. And by that point, Arsenal would equalise. That would be my only criticism. But I think in terms of the tactical setup, I think in terms of the way that he set up the team, and also then the players, the way they executed that, I don't think you can ask for much more. But it goes back to the wider debate of, okay, you can do that at home or away against second best team in the league because they're going to have the ball. You're going to sit back. What are you going to do when you're playing mid-table and you can't sit behind the ball because it's not going to be tolerated to be playing Crystal Palace at home and you having 30% possession because you're just going to be completely behind the ball at Man United. So what do you do then? But hey, I said a couple of extra points here and there. I'll take it. Let's go to another call. Let's go to Amanor. Amanor, it's time. Yes. I mean, I wish I had the Amanor page 906. We don't. It's time for no more pillow talk. He's awake. He's vibrant. Amanor, what did you make of what you saw today?
No, good evening, Owen. I thought it was I thought we need to. I thought some people like Flex and Shaw need to be open and give praise to the manager. I've not heard any praises from the manager because these same individuals criticize the manager. And yes, the first half was boring. I'll be honest with you, I was like playing on my phone for 5 minutes on the first half. But that was by design. I saw Amorim what he was doing. He did not want to lose the game in the first half, so he set up a 4-5-1 with Xerxes up top, just doing being stranded in the middle of nowhere. So credit for the first half, and Bruno saving us with a set piece goal, which is credit to Bruno as well. And then second half, certain plays just stood out for me. I know Heaven did well, but I also want to give a shout out to Mazraoui and Garnacho, two players who I just thought clicked really well on the right hand side. Yes, Garnacho is not his best performance I've ever seen, but he's I think he's learning now what Amorim wants from him a little bit. He's still going to be slightly selfish, so you can't eradicate that from his play. But I've seen him go to the byline and cross the ball, and Mazraoui as well. He was attacking quite a lot, so credit to the manager really, and it just goes to show something that people seem to forget, that Show and Flex will say it's all about the tactics. The manager needs to change the system, but really for me, this is another example of it's all about the players. These players motivate themselves to play very well in certain types of games when it's against good opposition and where we have to play the low block counter attacking. This is when these players shine. And KG said it very well towards the end of the stream, where he said words to the effect that it's in the players' DNA to play like that, low block counter attacking. They've been doing that under Ten Hag. They've been doing that under Oli, to be honest with you. And the challenge for Amorim is really to change that in the summer. Whether that means more coaching with them or getting rid of players who can't do that, that is for the summer. But for today, I'm proud of the player. I'm proud of the manager in particular. I don't trust the players, but good performance.
Is this an example then today of all of the people that are saying Amorim is not adapting or he won't adapt? Is today a perfect example of actually he did adapt, because he clearly went into a 4-5-1, like you said, stifled the game, got behind the ball and played on the counter-attack, which had been open that he doesn't really want to do. But today he knew he had to do it to get a result. That's adapting, is it not?
Yeah, and and people not talking about this. The other thing as well, in the stand, Sir Jim the Rat was in the stand today.
Yeah.
So if we got humiliated by Arsenal, like 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, then there would have been really big question marks against Amorim, because it would have been akin to when we lost 5-0 at home against Liverpool. If it was that kind of result and the atmosphere turning, becoming sour with Sir Jim there, God knows what sort of reaction Sir Jim and the Ineos crew would have made following that match. So he knew no one says his job was on line. He's always been clear his job has always been the line from day one. But I think he was just being pragmatic and saying, okay, I will stick to my 3-4-3, but that's at the start. When the whistle goes, I will change. And this is why I would like people like Flex to come out and not apologize, but acknowledge that. Say, look, this manager is adaptable. He isn't rigid like some managers are. He isn't like a Antonio Conte or a Postecoglou high line for life. He can adapt, It's just a shame that he hasn't got the players that he wants, and he just needs to win enough credit to get him over to the summer, and that's what he's trying to do.
In terms of individual performances, did Bruno Fernandes once again shut up Roy Keane today? I mean, he scores the free kick, creates chances. Where would we be without him? I mean, and you've been critical before of his leadership skills as well. So what did you make of him?
No, I've still got the jury's out on Bruno for me a little bit, but got to give him credit. He played well today. I feel like he's maturing, and you no longer see. I don't know if you noticed, Owen. We're no longer seeing the Hollywood passes. They does. I've hardly seen any Hollywood passes. Yes, he may misplace a pass, but he doesn't do 50, 30 yard passes with the hope for it to lead to attack. So he's adapting. He's learning. He won't win us the league, Bruno, but we're not in a position to win the league. We just need somebody just to take us to the next step. So he is that man for that. But yeah, great respect to Bruno.
And finally, Rasmus Højlund came on, had a couple of chances. The one in particular where Casemiro wins the ball, should he hit it first time? And is that a case of not having confidence? Is that just not having a striker's instinct? Do we win today if we have maybe another striker on the pitch? What do you make of that one?
I think it's a mixture of confidence and not having the instinct. It's not a binary answer in terms of lack of confidence, because even if it's lack of confidence, you'd at least have an attempt of the shot, and he may have missed it, but he didn't even attempt the shot. He just fumbled it. So, yeah, it is disappointing. One thing I would say, I am going to the match on Thursday, Owen, and hopefully I'm going to see Flex if he's there. But I don't think this is a game where we can say, yep, we're going to build that out to the Real Sociedad game, because the Real Sociedad game will be a different game, whereby we as the home team have to attack. I still believe we don't have enough of an attacking threat. So that maybe I'm being a bit negative, but that's how I feel. Yeah,
hey, it's your opinion. Big up, Amorim. Appreciate you calling in as always. Channel 906. Hey. That was business Amorim this evening. Very professional Amorim this evening. You sometimes get a mixed bag. We've got close to 700 people watching, which is fantastic. 10 likes under 200. So if you haven't already, click the like button and be sure to subscribe as well whilst you're at it. Fan views will be coming out very shortly if they haven't already. Actually, let me do a quick check if they are already out. Sometimes Just Josh Media Graphics Guru Visual Ninja works fast. They're not out yet. I think they're uploading. Are they uploading? Oh, yes, they are. They are uploading at the moment. Yes. Flex's view is going to be available shortly. There you go. Don't say you don't get any inside information on the full-time view. You absolutely do. Let's go to another call. Let's go to Chalaboy Comics. Very rarely we're talking after wins, and draws against decent
teams. I was going to say we didn't even get a win this time.
No, exactly. But we'll take it. What do you make of that? It's a bit of a weird feeling to come out of a game against Arsenal going, we should have won that one.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I feel like all the callers have sort of shared that sentiment, in the sense that maybe during the first half, if someone said this is going to end 1-1, you take it, because it looked quite poor at the start of the game. However, after the game, I'm a greedy fan. I want it all. We had 3 huge chances to steal the game, and it's just disappointing that we didn't get that. But when the dust settles, you'll take a 1-1, given the fact of where we are this season and where Arsenal is. But before we go into Man United's, performance, I just want to say to any Arsenal fan that's watching, you guys have folded like a cheap tent, honestly. Like, this title challenge has been so bad that the league is basically over right now. So for all this talk about, Arsenal's coming, anytime there's been fight, they've buckled under pressure. So, I'm just happy that we weren't on the losing end, especially after going ahead at 1-0. We didn't lose that record of the halftime thing, even though Onana did his best to almost, ruin that. And I know we don't want to talk about negatives, but I have to use him as an analogy versus Raya, right? The difference at the highest level of the sport is the fine margins, right? And the difference between a full 3 points and or 0 points gained and 1 point gained was Raya, versus us, loss, would have been on Onana if Martinelli wasn't offside, right? So it just goes to show that no matter how well you can be playing tactically, all it takes is one person not to do their job at a high level for everything to crumble. So when you multiply that across 11 people on the pitch not doing their jobs at the highest level, it explains why we are here today. So, I just wanted to use that as an analogy to show, for as good as we played in terms of the tactical setup, we were also, fortunate to come away with something, because it could have gone either way. That being said, what was annoying me about the game is that, as everyone mentioned, we were doing a low block, trying to hit them on the counter, and a lot of times we were playing the long ball from the keeper to get the second balls. But if you decide to do that, you have to show fight to try and win the second balls, which we weren't doing for the first half. It was the ball will go to Arsenal, we'll go in the air. We wouldn't challenge for the ball. Then all of a sudden, Arsenal have the game, and it's another 20 passes before we get it. So that was a very frustrating first half. However, once the goal goes in, and shout out to Bruno, who has risen, to the challenge that Roy Keane has laid down, which I think, while harsh, had some elements of truth, particularly around the fake pressing. That's been an epidemic across our whole squad. And the fact that Bruno has now taken that and said, no, I want to lead this team by example. I'm going to run. I'm going to cover the yards. I thought that was a really good performance by him. So all in all, performance-wise, I think it was fine. We did enough to be, to win the game. But on a personnel level, we're still a little bit far from where we need to be.
Continuing with some positives, do we think that we've got a player in Aiden Heaven that we can use moving forward after his cameo in the second half?
So that's a tough one, because when I was seeing it, I think he did a good job for his situation. Being 18, coming in against a big game, and making those two big challenges. However, if I'm being honest with how I look at his game, it's still very, very raw. And when you're seeing how he was playing, there was a lot of off-balanced, tackles, in the sense that one inch this way or 1 inch that way, it could have been exposed. I didn't feel like he was 100% in control of all the challenges. Not that he didn't do well, but I just don't want us to raise this expectation, expect him to be the savior, because he's going to have some issues. Like if that was in Europe, the header that he did and it hit his arm, that's a penalty that we're conceding,
It would have
right?
been given, yeah.
It would have been given. So I don't want to put too much pressure on the kid. Just ease him in. I think he's good as a utility guy to come in where we have the quality won't drop off so much once he comes in. But I don't think he's ready to start at the moment, and not through any fault of his own, just because he's still raw. I'm just really gutted for Lenny Yoro, because I think this guy is a quality player in terms of his potential. Like, he's just so smart, so clever. And the fact that he's now re-injured a leg, I hope it's not the same leg. I'm really, really nervous for that news. But Aiden Heaven, he should be proud of his performance, but I don't want us to start rushing him in. I don't think he's ready at this moment for first-team football.
Do you think it gives us any momentum heading into Thursday? Or, like everyone's kind of saying, well, we've had moments that should have been momentous so far this season, against Arsenal, against City, against Liverpool, and it's not led to anything. So I'm not going to get too carried away just yet.
Right. So I think so. When we drew Sociedad, I was like, oh, come on. Like, even when Ferguson was our manager, like, we've just struggled in Europe against Spanish opposition, right? And the fact that we were leading that game, and then the Bruno handball, you're like, here we go again. I've seen this movie before with Lisandro Martinez, where we have to go and get a result and then some shoddy business. Am I confident that we have the quality to beat them? Yes, we do. But I'm not confident that we will, only because the cosmic feelings. It's going to be a really tight game. That's all I know. That being said, if we do want to win, there has to be a mentality shift. People talked about it from Garnacho, to realize what makes a great player is not when you play for yourself. It's when you play for your team and make others around you better. We had that one chance where he took that left-footed shot, right? You need to be more mature to optimize and play the pass, because when you give the ball, you're going to get the ball. That's the way football works. It's a give and go type of thing. If he puts his mindset and says, I'm going to play for the team, I think he could be very dangerous. As I mentioned in the last match view, like with a comment, I'm very happy with Xerxes' newfound confidence. I feel like if he continues to sort of like impose himself, we can win that game. If Bruno decides to play composed and, step in big moments and cover his man when he's meant to and not point fingers, we could win this game. And also Amorim's adaptation, I called it like, or I made a claim like way back when I said Amorim needs to increase the transitional moments that we have in this team, because that's what we're suited for. For the last 4 games that I've watched, he has done that. We go more direct, more quickly. We have more space. If we continue in that vein and don't get too arrogant that say, oh, we have to play Sociedad off the park. No. Stay compact. It's a European game. Hit them on the counter. They can't live without physicality. They can't live without pace. That's the way we beat them. Anthony's looking good in Spain. McTominay is bossing, Italy, because we're just physically stronger than a lot of these European teams. We need to be ugly and go for that. I want full throttle transition football, stay strong and compact, and I think we can do a good job.
Hopefully we do, and hopefully we're talking after a victory this time.
Hopefully.
It would be nice, wouldn't it? Big up, Charlotte Boy Comics. Appreciate you calling in as always. Long-time contributor to this show, to the channel, long-time member. How many likes we currently got? We've got over 600 people watching. We're about 230 likes. If you haven't already, let's see if we can get to 300 likes. Be sure to subscribe as well, bottom right-hand corner, and be sure to, guys in the chat. Everyone's allowed their opinion or whatever. Let's keep it respectful. If not, the mods will do their job as well and time you out. There's no need for name calling or anything like that, because if they'll do that, I'll time you out in there as well. So let's just keep it respectful, right? With the UV community, it's in the word community. We can be community and we can be civil with each other. You can disagree with anyone, but you always keep it respectful. It doesn't need to go to name calling, because if it does, you'll be out. Let's go to another call. Let's go to Eminem. Hey, should we have won that one? Against Arsenal, we'd have taken that before the game, 1-1. But should we have won that game?
We should have, to be honest. Before the game, I thought we weren't going to lose. I had a feeling I would have taken that draw before the game, but we were so, in terms of a threat, we were a much better team. We had much better chances, except we weren't able to finish it. I think that Bruno won. I think there are a few people saying that Bruno should have actually aimed better for that last goal. However, I think he had an Arsenal defender and he had one of our other players in front of him, and he had Raya, so it was a difficult shot. But the Højlund chances pissed me off. That pushed me over the edge a bit. I'm so done with him. I think obviously he's low in confidence. That's fair, but he's also not good at all, because you could see there's a difference when Xerxes was playing up front and versus Rasmus today. But overall, I am happy with today's game. I know it was boring the first half, but I think Ruben actually had Arteta's number. He actually planned the game out well. And Garnacho, obviously, with the plan today was to actually play in the transition. Garnacho actually played really well that way. Obviously, he made some poor decisions, obviously, with that left-footed shot. But yeah, it was a much better system. And also, him playing on the right, he's sort of forced to pass. So that's another reason why he's actually playing better. But yeah,
does this go against the narrative regarding Ruben that he can't adapt, or he doesn't adapt and he's completely rigid? Because we saw today, which is what he's done a few times against these big teams, that he'll go in a low block and play on the counter if need be. Is that not adaptation?
I think there's a bit of... I think he has not adapted too much for this game. Obviously, we've played a bit deeper today, but he also had better profiles that could actually link up in the transition. So when I say that, it's like Xerxes had the number 9, makes a difference with Rasmus at the number 9. Xerxes was able to get the ball down and put it through, whereas Rasmus wouldn't be able to do that. Over the last 20 games he's played, he's not been able to do that. Last time we actually saw something like this was against Everton, but the wing backs and Bruno actually contributed more in that game. But yeah, he did adapt in this game, and that's something that I'm happy to see. He's adapting actually most games, but today I think he just picked the right profiles to play next to each other, and that actually just made a better game for us. Obviously, defensively we were strong defensively. However, obviously we gave the ball away a bit too many times, but those things are just expected with this team at the moment.
And when it comes to obviously Bruno, Roy Keane's had his criticism of him recently, but keeps showing up every single time in these big games, scoring goals, creating chances. Has he been overhated? Flex says he's one of the most overhated players in the Premier League. Would you share that sentiment?
100%, 100%. He's definitely. It's for so long. It was Bruno and Rashford, and now Rashford's gone. It's Bruno, and people are just. We would definitely be in a deep relegation battle without him today. Without him this season. If he was sold in the summer, we would be that bad. He's definitely overhated, especially obviously people like our opponents agree with that. They hate him as well, and then obviously some of our fans would agree with that as well. But he's overly criticized for his emotion on the pitch. He's the only one who can lead this team at this time. You can't give anyone else the armband. You can give it back to Maguire, but obviously Bruno would continue to do what he does, but it wouldn't really make a difference. He's still on the pitch. He does lead from the front. And him popping up with goals, assists over the last few weeks has been incremental to what we've been doing, the positive side of things. Obviously, you could look at the negative. However, we are overall a really bad team. You can't really blame that on them. You put him in the Arsenal team, they'd probably win this game. Odegaard couldn't force a goal. He couldn't force a really big chance. He did have a decent shot, but he can't do that. Bruno can. And obviously, Bruno can play with discipline. The difference is that the recruitment of this team has been so poor, has been so up and down, that we're a mix of transitional teams. So when we play the transition, he'll put the ball through. But then we play the possession in the possession way, he'll still do that because this team is completely mixed up. But he is overhated, and Roy Keane is just. I think he's just focused on the 20 years ago of United. Obviously, he just made that comment that everybody cheered for us for a draw, but if back then they would have booed. 20 years ago, United are different. We don't have Sir Alex who was holding everything together. We don't have we never had a good structure back then, but we don't have a good structure right now, which is showing completely. Poor recruitment, players that are old, players that are really young, who've got no experience. It's just a completely different team. And yeah, I think he's just talking a bit of bullshit there.
Bit of bullshit from Kino, that's what it's about. But big up Eminem always calls into this show too. And there you go, guys. I tell you what, I thought I was going to do this show, the streams today, the match view, what have you, and I thought I'd be coming on here. We'd be talking about getting pumped again, and we'd be like, "Wow, this is what it is for us this season. Get to the summer." A bit of positivity. I mean, to be fair, it's a really weird position, doesn't it? It feels a strange position to be like, I'm annoyed we didn't win. Usually I'm annoyed we didn't win because we lost and we're rubbish. But today I'm annoyed we didn't win because I'm like, we should have won against a good team. Actually, that's something to take away. And it's maybe small, and I don't trust obviously the players and the team, and they could just as easily let us down on Thursday. I half still expect them to. But when we get our little moments, I suppose we should take them and save them for as long as they possibly last, because you don't have many of them. So there you go. Reaction still to come from Old Trafford. Flex's view is currently up. I think more will be on their way very shortly. We'll be hearing from KG, that comedian, as well moving forward. I know his fan view is being uploaded at the moment. We'll also probably hear some stuff from the likes of from Dom Robbie, from some of the guys from AFTV. I tell you what, when it comes to Arsenal or AFTV, they must feel like, because I think the Man United fans will remind them of this. We're shit. Like, Man United are not good. And the fact that Man United are coming out of today's game going, we should have won. Arsenal really didn't contribute all that much at all, did they? So I don't know, but good for them. They got their 7-1 trophy. Very, very important. Very, very big. Anyway, guys, have a good evening. We didn't lose. We should have won. And we'll be back tomorrow morning. At least I will for the morning view. I'm out of here. Peace.